Hi, everybody. Welcome to Deep Thoughts at the end of week 6. I'm your host, Stephen. I'll be opening our show for today and then having a guest correspondent join in. I'm opening with who I'm missing, and this week I want to shout out the parents at LFA. So Alex, Elba, Emily, Jessica, Nancy, Rachel Ruda, and Shala. I don't know how you're doing it. And I have so much respect and appreciation and awe for all that you're juggling right now. And just want you to know that you're loved, appreciated, supported, and valued for all the roles that you're playing right now, both for the organization and for your families. And with that, I'm going to introduce our guest correspondent from sunny Seattle, the ever effervescent Emily Drake.
Hi, happy Friday from LFA Seattle headquarters. Thanks to Stephen for the invitation to participate in this week's Friday video. Yay, Friday. On my segment, I want to first share some things that I'm grateful for and then provide an update on some of the company financials to everyone. So first, on the topic of things that I am grateful for, I have had a hard week, personally speaking. Some of you may have heard my husband came in with shingles. My kids have been a little more stir crazy than usual. My tank has really been running a little closer to empty than it usually does. And so the first piece of gratitude goes out to everyone for yesterday's staff meeting. I found it to be really nourishing and rejuvenating, and connecting with everyone really helped lift my spirits in a profound way. So just thanks to all of you for continuing to make this organization a place of support and a source of strength during these times. I want to give a specific shout out to Katie for her presentation on life in the time of COVID and ensuring us that all of this is normal. All these, the binge watching the news and shopping for too many magic markers and toilet paper, I really needed to hear that. So thanks, Katie, for that presentation and for the time you took to put that together for us. I'm also really thankful to Laura, Allison, Mariah, Jessica, and everyone who worked to put together the content and the flow for yesterday's staff meeting. I am really excited to be working with my new REPG. I'm thrilled that we're recommitting to our racial equity work right now. It feels like the work we absolutely need to be doing right now, and I'm so glad that we're making the time and the space to do this together. And I'm really looking forward to deepening my personal practice and to going above and beyond what the foundation that we got in the TWP curriculum. And I'm looking forward to having these new partners for my REPG alongside me in this journey. And finally, a big shout out to whoever brought this book, Ta-Nehisi Coates' book, The Water Dancer, to last year's holiday gift exchange. I was the lucky recipient of that book. I finally finished reading it this week, and I found it so powerful and beautifully written. I don't know who brought it, but thank you, and I promise to add it to our LFA library whenever I can get back to the office. So now on to the update regarding the company financials. We have closed the books on March, and I'm pleased to say that we finished the month in the black, which is to say that means that our revenues exceeded our expenses and we had a small profit. So yay for that, go team. And thanks to everyone for ensuring that their hours were up to date in Journix for April 1st through 15th earlier this week. Matt has run those numbers, and we know that we came in at about 72% of our goal for billable hours, and that about 12% of our hours were billed to the COVID slowdown. So we have a certain goal every month for how many hours we're going to bill, and we met 72% of that goal. What we know is that our break-even point for the month is if we can meet about 76% of our goal for billable hours. So please continue to bill as much as you can to your projects in the second half of the month. It is definitely not impossible that we can make up and reach our target for the month. So thanks again for all the careful tracking and the work that you're doing. There is no change in guidance for the second half of April regarding how to account for your time related to the COVID slowdown. Continue to work as much as you can, take breaks when you need for childcare, elder care, community care, self-care, and please bill that time to 901 COVID slowdown. Now in the Department of Updates of things we have absolutely no control over, you may have heard that the Small Business Association has exhausted the $349 billion that was allocated by Congress for the PPP loans, which stands for Paycheck Protection Plan loans. That money was exhausted on Thursday morning, and the Small Business Association, the SBA, is no longer accepting applications for that money. We did hear on Thursday morning from our bank that our application had been entered into SBA's system, and we have been assigned a file number. We don't know exactly what that means. We don't know for sure that we've gotten approval, but our banker is hopeful that this means our application was included in those that were initially provided funding. He thinks it's at least 80% chance that we'll get the funding we applied for. So we don't know yet. We will certainly provide more updates to the full company whenever we hear from the bank, and we'll be sure to share what we know. If we do receive the loan, we know that we'll have a cushion that will continue to support the firm even if we don't make those break-even goals in the coming months. That will really help us in a big way. We do still have about 6 weeks complete of operating money in the bank. So if we were to get no new checks in from clients and nothing more were to happen, we know that we could continue on paying everyone at full salary, paying all of our expenses for 6 weeks. And of course, we know that we are still continuing to work. We are still continuing to bill. We still have clients who continue to pay our invoices. So that is a really conservative scenario. But in light of the uncertainty regarding the PPP loan, the partners and Matt, we will definitely be continuing to strategize and thinking through what our financial plan will need to be if we don't receive the loan. Matt is working on some scenario planning for us to review, for the partners to review this coming week. He's also really carefully tracking our cash position, which continues to be strong, as I just said, and he sends an update on the cash we have in the bank and what that means at least once a week, so we can monitor things closely. So that's all from me from the Seattle Dispatch. Thanks, and I'm going to pass the baton back to Stephen now.
Thanks very much, Emily. Really appreciate all of those helpful and informative updates. I want to close this out this week with some highlights and bright spots that we're celebrating at LFA. Certainly have made my week, which has been frankly quite challenging, as it may have been for many of us, in no small part because of just how stark and increasingly clear the effects of the pandemic are playing out inequitably, particularly along racial lines and class lines. And that is soul crushing, not shocking, but also rally crying for me. And I want to share these updates, which are highlights and bright spots of LFA's work, in that context of endeavoring to be part of the solution to the inequities that are so pernicious and persistent in our society. First, I wanted to share that we've finished drafting the year one evaluation report for the My Brother's Keeper Community Competition Challenge for the Obama Foundation. And that has been a very poignant project for us to be working on right now as we think about the importance of investing in efforts in our communities to value young men and boys of color. And we're both pleased to have seen the progress that has been made in the communities around the country that are part of My Brother's Keeper, and also are going to be urging President Obama and the foundation and the My Brother's Keeper team to continue their investments beyond the initial 2-year time period that was slated for the initiative, because for obvious reasons, the needs and import of this work could never be greater. But it has been a fantastic process and project to be working on with Jessica, Laura, and Dominic, and our colleagues at Public Equity Group, John Newsom and Justin Smith. I also wanted to share that Alex spoke today with Silicon Valley Community Foundation, and they are quite excited to do a version of the use of our nonprofit capacities organizational diagnostic tool that we did with San Francisco's OED, the Workforce Development Office, and pilot basically implementing the tool in San Mateo and Santa Clara counties, maybe in partnership with other community foundations. This probably won't happen for a little bit because of COVID, but it is an incredible example of how we can bring our tools and skill set to strengthen the work of organizations and community. The third highlight I wanted to mention is the pro bono coaching that we offered thanks to Rachel Lipton's generosity and skill set in this area. It was very well received. We made 15 slots available pro bono. 22 people signed up, and we are going to move forward with Rachel coaching all 22 of those folks, or providing sessions for all 22 folks. Just couldn't say no. And thank you, Rachel. Hooray for the support that you'll be providing for these organizations. I'm sure it will be extremely valuable, and really, really appreciate your willingness and interest and availability to do this for folks in the field. The fourth update is, as many of you know, as everyone knows, really, we're starting to move forward in earnest with some of our business internal development projects, getting our business development systems kind of strengthened and honed, and resuming the work on the RISE framework. This is just the perfect time to be investing in our company as an organization and our offerings for folks out there who can benefit from the tools that we have to offer. And then lastly, I want to highlight the bright spot that we are really leaning into the question of, what will be different for the nonprofit sector post-COVID, and how can we draw on and evolve our capabilities and talents to meet those needs? How can we use our voice and place in the sector to shine an even stronger, brighter, and more urgent light on issues of equity and how inequitable our systems, structures, policies, and institutions are in this country. So I'm really appreciative of the fact that we've been using the time that we have now to pick back up our conversation about what equity means for us as an organization, for how we are with each other, how we are with our clients. And I just am feeling a lot of gratitude and deep connection to everyone in this organization, given our like-minded convictions around the importance of centering equity at a time when there is crisis and uncertainty and lack of resources and opportunity for folks. So with that, I am going to close out and leave you with a little song of the week, and hope that it connects you to us as an organization and to your friends and family and each other as the family that we are.